Why do you have that? What do you mean? Has the gag order magically been lifted and we haven't been informed? Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Okay, you guys, I've had about 4 or 5 comments telling me that there's some really interestingly different information in this, like, I'm going to assume preview for whatever Dateline is going to be doing. I tried to check on the Dateline NBC's direct YouTube page, and I didn't see anything. Like, the last video they posted was 5 days ago. So then I found this. The comments are really interesting because they're trying to say that a whole bunch of photos apparently were found on something maybe that belongs to Bryan Kohberger, and that one of the photos shows Xana at the Grove pool party that Bryan apparently went to whenever he was invited by his neighbor. Now, the problem that I have with this is that we've already been told by both sides that there's no connection to the victims and that he hasn't been stalking the victims. And again, I know that there's going to be some people that say, oh, the definition in Idaho for stalking is different, but if you go and actually look at the definition of second-degree stalking for non-consensual contact at the bottom, it talks about surveilling even via electronic means. So I don't know why people have issues with the definition. It is what it is. And what it is something that the state is claiming he's not guilty of. That being said, let's go ahead and watch this together. It's a little over 5 minutes. I'm curious, extremely curious, because gag order means that we do not have photo evidence available to the public, that the media places are not allowed to get this type of information whenever they file a FOIA. If anything, just like old TikTok psychic over there, they would be denied the access because these are sealed documents. So let's see.
In this house, just steps from campus, in the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, 4 University of Idaho students, Maddie Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, were stabbed to death. Their accused killer, Bryan Kohberger, faces trial this summer. He's pleaded not guilty. For the last 2.5 years, Dateline has been on the ground, reporting, gathering.
He has not technically pleaded not guilty. He is standing silent, which means that the judge entered the not guilty plea. Bryan Kohberger has technically not pled anything. Technically.
And learning from people with direct knowledge of the case. We've obtained things that have never before been seen publicly.
How? How, when we are under a gag order, have you obtained things that have not been seen publicly? I would love to know.
Like these security videos from a camera on a house near the murder scene. Videos that show a white sedan, a car that investigators believe was driven by Bryan Kohberger, making repeated passes of the King Road house that night before the murders.
Where did they get that? I don't remember ever seeing a video before. We've only seen still shots. And I think there was something, the only other thing that actually did come out when it came to like this porch with the pumpkins was stuff that Steve Goncalves himself came out and said the audio was wonky. It was a conversation that actually came to light whenever all the stuff between Brett Norton and Steve Goncalves came out. So seeing the car actually driving, that's a first for me. How did they get this?
With evidence like this and our reporting, we have assembled a timeline for the weeks,
Did you see that? Like, go back and look at it. Like, you cannot tell if this car has a front license plate or not. The lights are so big in front of the car. Look.
Our reporting, we have assembled a timeline for the weeks, months, and days before and after the murders. Starting with a pool party Kohberger attended in July, just after he moved.
Okay, I'm going to be looking for Xana. People are claiming that they can see her, but no one, as far as I can tell, and this has been posted for 3 hours now, no one has put a timestamp. So let me see if I can see her. I'll have a link for this also down in the description box. So if you guys want to go and take a look and see if you can see her too, but I'll say again, no connection per the charging agency. Let's keep that in mind because they might not be seeing Xana. They might be thinking they see Xana, but it might not be.
Moved to the area in pursuit of of his PhD in criminology.
So videos, are these
An
supposed to be
exclusive interview with
videos? Wouldn't that be crazy if that was a video that they took off of his phone from the pool party and he was just like taking photos and videos? His behaviors already are different. We already know that. He's a people watcher. He is really trying to pay attention to the way that people react in situations. So it's creepy, but that doesn't mean that he was at the location of King Road at the time that it happened. And that's if that's what they're saying here. It's interesting. That video, right off the bat, is telling me that they definitely have things they probably shouldn't have.
A woman who exchanged numbers with Kohberger then did not return his text.
Okay, so we heard about two blondes in black bathing suits from Howard Bloom, whatever, when it came to this pool party. She's a brunette. Interesting.
You know, the universe intervened and for whatever reason just distracted me from further engaging in that interaction.
She's pretty.
We'll also reveal records from Kohberger's cell phone that are in the possession of law enforcement. And
why do you have that? What do you mean? Has the gag order magically been lifted and we haven't been informed? How do you have that?
Google searches regarding the serial killer Ted Bundy. We have also
That's
seen
here nor there.
Dozens of
okay, see, I bet you anything it's this one right here.
Dozens of photos and keys.
See, those look like girl. Oh no, there's a white top right there. I bet one of those girls they're probably trying to say is Xana. I can see why maybe they would think that about this top girl right here, but I don't know. Everything's blurry.
Also seen these. Dozens of photos in Kohberger's cell phone.
That was Instagram. You saw that?
Cell phone. Browsing.
Wow, that's familiar. Okay.
History. Women from Washington State and the University of Idaho.
We've seen this picture.
Including close friends of the King Road victims.
I think I know this picture.
Dateline has also obtained records showing the details of what an FBI cell phone expert has claimed to be in the months before the murders.
I'm really confused. Like, I'm not trying to say that I'm just like obviously just gonna like fall for all this and believe this. Those shots could be from anything. Those pictures were very publicly available and probably are, honestly, being very easily edited in from pictures being taken off of someone's phone who works for the company that created this to give it the effect that they need to edit it into the video. There is just no way, in my opinion, that under a gag order, they've obtained all of this information. But I will say that them having that video is interesting to me because I have never seen the actual footage. Let me know down in the comments if this is the first time that you've seen that too. Everything that we've seen when it comes to footage from Linda Lane and all that, I've never seen that before myself. Now, I mentioned the fact that Brett Norton and Steve Goncalves had a conversation about Linda Lane. And in that conversation, I'll elaborate to this. And this stuff was posted on Brett Norton's TikTok account. She actually sort of slipped up whenever she said this. There's clips of this all over the place. I'm pretty sure I also have a clip of this situation where she not only admits that she's been getting information from Steve Goncalves, but she also comes out and claims that he told her specifically that he has seen actual footage, meaning stuff like this, stuff like 1112, the front and the back, other places they were able to get to before the cops really started shutting things all the way down. And that's how he was able to tell her that a lot of the audio on Linda Lane sounded like it was manipulated, like it was fabricated. He basically just said, I wouldn't trust the audio pretty much because, you know, it doesn't sound like what they said they had that was official video, which would sort of tell me it would be like this video and that he would be matching the sounds that he's hearing in the background of this video to the more upfront sounds of the Linda Lane video and, you know, trying to compare everything. So with everything that's been going on lately and all of the media stuff going around and the way that this video is giving us a bunch of information that is A, if true, completely sealed and under a gag order, and B, already proven to be at least half true because we haven't had anybody from the state come out and say that they were wrong when they told us no connection between him and the victims on any of those devices that they tested, and there was over 60 of them over 60 devices, nothing on social media, nothing in his office, nothing in his car, nothing was found that connects him to the victims in any way, shape, or fashion. Again, the state themselves are the ones standing up on their feet in court and demanding, hitting the table, Xana, making sure we understand those are not true statements, that those are false statements. It's been quite a while since that information came out. So I really have to question, is this information that Steve Goncalves handed over to Dateline? Did Steve Goncalves hand over this footage that we knew from conversations he had with Brett Norton that he already had in his possession? Because he admitted it, because he knew that there was pieces of audio in Linda Lane that didn't match this, because he had this. This was official info. So again, I'm just asking the obvious question based off of actual things that have been proven to be factual. Is it possible that this entire narrative is coming from Steve Goncalves, and all of the rest of the information they're going to be putting in here is all of that non-factual, non-actual receipt-based stuff that the Goncalves family has been out here pushing since before communication between them and the state stopped? They can come out with information that looks as legitimate as what we just saw, and it still not be from official sources. So, I'm really curious if the Goncalveses are behind this.
23 occasions when Kohberger's phone connected to a cell tower, providing coverage to within 100 meters of the house at 1122 King Road.
See, we went over that document, and me and several people that went over the document that's being discussed right now are not reading it that way. Now, granted, we're not cell phone experts, but what we've come to understand from people who do believe that Bryan Kohberger is guilty, that have come out and talked about cell phone towers, cell phone coverage, how it works, they cover a 10 to 20 mile radius. And depending on cell phone traffic, literally the invisible waves and stuff that's just like in the air surrounding us at all times, depending on that traffic, you could, for example, be traveling north, but because there's so much cell traffic, your phone cannot connect to a tower north. It has to connect to the next one that actually will allow it to connect, be it something behind you, to the left of you, to the right of you. It doesn't matter. And let's say you continue driving, but the traffic is still really, really, really bad. And say it's already connected you to the south of you. Well, instead of it now putting you back into the north and bringing your directions back correct, it can take you off to the east or off to the west. It just depends on the cell phone traffic. So again, I'm not a cell phone expert, but as far as I can tell, this whole 100-meter thing, I don't know if that's precisely what they're trying to claim here, because they don't have his AT&T advance records. They've been claiming that the only way that they can get this type of accurate information is with those records, yet they're claiming they don't have those records, while also claiming that they have this very to the couple of feet exact precise measurement information. That doesn't make any sense. They're going to have to explain it a lot better. Because to millions of people right now, that's not the type of information that we're actually seeing here.
And in the hours after the murders, details of the timing of phone calls Bryan Kohberger made to a phone linked to his parents just before the controversial selfie he took.
Okay, so what I got a comment about was that the picture of him with the thumbs up was him showing his mom that he was able to button the top button because of his dexterity issues, which was an interesting thing because just about 2 weeks or so later, we got the information from the defense talking about how he has a diagnosis showing that he does actually have dexterity and motor skill problems. And we also know that whenever he was a teenager, he got basically fired from being a fish filleter because he could not get the knife skills down. I've always thought that was pretty important.
Talk to the mother whose daughter was supposed to be staying in the house the night of the murder.
She has done an interview with Maddie Mogen's mom. We've gone over that interview here on this channel before. If I can get to it fast enough, I'll put a link for it down in the description box.
Murders, but a change of plans may have saved her daughter's life.
How soon was it that you thought, my God, she was going to be there?
I didn't think about that right away.
Huh.
All I could think about was the kids.
You saw how they put that? Mother of Mogen's best friend. Mogen's best friend is supposed to be Kaylee. So it's interesting they put it that way.
The kids.
Makes you sad too, doesn't it?
It does. Sorry.
So many damaged families. Angela Nevejas told us that her daughter Ashlyn, Maddie Mogen's best friend, moved away from Idaho and now refuses to come home to visit because of the trauma associated with the murders. She's hoping
That's interesting.
some of that may change and Ashlyn will start to grieve after Bryan Kohberger's trial. Back to you, Greg and Savannah.
Such a heartbreaking story, Keith. Thank you. And we know we'll have more on Dateline. We'll look forward to that. I want to turn now to NBC senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett, who's here. You follow this very closely, too. And now we're starting to see some of the case that the prosecution plans to present.
Why do you have that information? Why do you have that video? And why are you out here telling us that you have phone records for the defendant whenever we're under a gag order? Is somebody in the prosecutor's office leaking information? Gag order. I wonder what Judge Hippler is going to say about that. Or is this also what they talked about on that remote session that they had on Monday the 5th, was the information they were going to leak to the public? Serious question.
You think is the significance and how compelling will it be to a jury?
Yeah, there's no question you can't watch that and not think the prosecution has a very strong case here. But there are defenses that Kohberger's team can offer. It's just a question if the jury finds them convincing. So on the white sedan, for instance, nobody sees Kohberger get in and out of that car. Nobody even sees him leave the house. All you have.
No one even sees that it actually is missing a front plate.
As a surviving roommate seeing bushy eyebrows, but not actually IDing Kohberger there. On the cell phone tower, they can put up an expert to say cell phone towers are not that accurate. We already know that they're going to say he liked to drive around at night, and so there's nothing that suggests that he was actually casing the joint, as that's basically the prosecution's theory there. Googling Ted Bundy, that does not look good, right?
It looks perfectly fine considering the fact that that's literally what you do in that type of career. Him not having any searches for any sort of serial situations or any sort of crimes whatsoever would be more suspicious than the fact that he actually does. Seriously.
Objectively, that does not look good, but he's a criminology student. It's not a crime to Google serial killers.
I mean, everyone watching this video right now would probably be just as guilty up on the list just based off of our searches alone because of how in-depth we get into these cases. So there's that too.
Jarrett doing her best defense attorney this morning. And you know, you find in trials, you know, any particular piece of evidence can be batted down, but sometimes it's the totality of the evidence.
Of course, the biggest piece is that his DNA is found in the crime scene, and the defense is going to have to try to explain that, according to prosecutors.
What about motive, Laura? The fact that even now, a couple years after the murders themselves, no motive has been presented.
I think I've always found that curious. Jurors like to attach to a story, and I think they're going to want to at least hear what the state has to offer on that. And I think by the time we get to trial, prosecutors are going to have something. Was it stalking? Did he target them?
They've already said, how's the prosecutor going to come out and say that it was stalking after already saying multiple times on his feet in the courtroom that it wasn't stalking? Are we the only people out here actually paying attention? Everyone else just has selective hearing?
Going to want to understand what the prosecution's theory is. Why did he pick these particular students?
They don't have an idea.
Do they have to?
No, they do not have to offer a motive. We should be clear about that.
Yeah, whatever. I know that they're not supposed to, but they're going to have to. They're going to have to make it make sense with everything that they are trying to do so far. So let's go down and look at these comments, because some people really do think that they saw Xana. Right here, I saw photos of Xana at the Grove pool. I knew this was the connection. He stalked them and followed them home. Again, just like everyone else is saying in here, no connection, no stalking. They've already said all of this. This one says, did I hear that correctly? He had the girl's photos in his phone. Okay, but that doesn't make any sense because they've already said that there was nothing on his devices that connected him to the victims. So that's why this is really confusing. It's like they took one legitimate actual piece of something that they got sent to them somehow. That being that 3-point turn on that camera at 1112 King Road. But now they take this interestingly actual information and then right behind it, they spew a bunch of bullshit to make their bullshit sound more legitimate. Because what? How would they possibly have any phone records regarding Bryan Kohberger unless somebody is leaking information. And yeah, I agree with Black Ice right here. These are all lies. Even if he did Google Ted Bundy, again, who gives a shit? Which one of us out here has not Googled Ted Bundy at one point in time or another? You cannot tell in that camera if that car has a missing front plate or not. It is a huge orb of lights. There is no way in shit you could try to get anything clarified when it comes to what you're actually seeing there. And when it comes to him having photos on his phone or on social media or any of those other things, again, I will reiterate to you guys again, the state has already said no. The state has already said no stalking. And again, we've gone over the definition. I'm not going to entertain those kinds of comments. Go read it yourself and just stop the drama with it, okay? On top of that, the devices. We've already been told that there's no connection in the devices that came from this case. Over 60 devices, and nothing was found that connects these two different worlds. Nothing. So is this Dateline literally taking, again, a legitimate piece of information that somehow got to them, being that black and white security footage, and just put some boo-boo behind it, hoping that people believe it because they dropped some legitimate poop first? That's not how this should work. We've been told the opposite in court of all the things they just said. Now, again, if he did take photos and videos of the pool party, a little creepy to know that he's like recording people and stuff without their knowledge, if that's the case. But that does not equal the situation here, especially since we know pretty much the way that he acts, the way that he has conversations with people, the kinds of questions that he asks people. We've now seen from body cam footage in Pullman. We've heard about the conversation he had with the police officer that's in that August traffic stop. We also know the way that he's had conversations with his neighbor, the way that he talks about other things. He's very just full of questions. He's constantly looking for answers, it sounds like. So I don't know, but they can't come out with this crap after the state's already said nothing on the devices, no connections on social media, no connections between the suspect and the victims whatsoever, and then come out here with this. Like, you literally just cannot do that. So I don't know what's happening here, but again, this is just a preview, apparently. I don't know exactly when this full-on episode is going to release, but best believe I'll have a reaction video to it. Actually, I do know. At the end of the segment, it shows that this is supposed to be airing Friday at 8/9 Central. Right now, it's Thursday, May the 8th. So tomorrow night is whenever this is supposed to be, I guess, hitting cable TV. Now, I don't do cable. We have a few streaming services, but pretty much the entire family are heavy YouTube users. So we don't really watch a lot of other stuff. Maybe a couple things on Netflix, but that's really about it. So that being said, I know that most of these channels have like their own apps where you can pretty much watch things live stream like it does on cable. So let me know down in the comments how many of you A, are plan on watching it, and B, would maybe like to watch it with me. But I think because of the way that this would have to happen for me to be able to actually talk about this without it being some sort of like copyright thing, especially as it's airing, would be I'm watching it, but y'all can't see what I'm watching, and I'm literally just like reacting to what I'm seeing, like in real time. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not watching it and you just want to come and hang out and watch us react to stuff, you know, me on screen and people in the chat, cool, come and do that too. That might be what I end up doing, just because this is wild to me that they have this 11/12 footage, and now there's all these other things. Because, you know, even now that I'm getting to the end of editing and I'm just putting in my little final touches and last thoughts, I'm still really, really, really suspicious about how they got that information, because they can easily, very easily, be part of this entire blue pill situation that we've already seen happening over on the CW with Ashley Banfield and Brian Enton, and them completely trying to gloss over the fact that the feds gave Moscow PD Brian's name on December 19th via a phone call with no other information but a name. They're trying to glance over the IGG completely now that the court has told both sides to come up with the lie that Detective Payne is going to get on the stand and say. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting show to watch. So again, if this does have like its own streaming thing, which I'm sure that it does, let me know if that's how you guys would maybe like to watch this together but not together tomorrow night. Let me know about that down in the comments. But let me know what you guys are thinking about all of this down in the comments, because I'm really honestly just disturbed about how they even got that footage of the car in the first place, because we're in a gag order. How do they have information, apparently and allegedly have information about what was on Bryan Kohberger's phone whenever we are under a gag order? What is actually happening here? Let me know how you guys are feeling about this stuff down in the comments. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. And please don't forget to make sure that that notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. See y'all.